Association. I knew him since I came to South Florida, and I could say he was one of the hardest workers of what Colonel Don was talking about. Every weekend he's off doing something somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes, Carol says. It's amazing the energy he has, amazing the effort he puts in. So, Bishop?
Thank you, Jim. And, I want to thank Jim Schutte for everything he did to make this happen. I just rode his curtails on this one, and I'm proud to be here and be able to do that. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, Jim. And Mariana and Johnny, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I know that without them. For one, as sportsmen, we wouldn't have the land to recreate. It's something that is our heart, our passion. It's part of the Gladesman culture. We got to have the land to do what we do. And it did, like everybody else has said already before, and I want to go back on everybody else's speech, but this would be a housing development. Let's not kid ourselves if some of the things they did. But some of the things I want to say from the sportsman's point of view, every bill they ever wrote, it was beat around recreation, an opportunity for you to come out, enjoy it, touch it, smell it, use it, but not abuse it. And we've done a real good job of being able to use it, and that's the reason why the sportsmen dedicate their time, their soul, their blood, their sweat, their tears to all of this land and fight every day tooth and nail to still be able to have recreational opportunity on the land, because we are the eyes and the ears, because we don't travel just on this graded road in Grandma's Cadillac. I always say that if someone said there was deer on the moon, these Gladesman boys, they'd build a rocket and try to be the first one up there to get the biggest buck. I can promise you that. And I'm telling you right now, some of the things we build are amazing, and people look at us saying, y'all are just crazy. But if you go back and look at history, you'll see that. We built some amazing ships to travel the games. With that said, I want to go to a couple stories about Marion and Johnny Jones and where I am today. Back when I used to visit the Game Commission halls, when Frank Montalbano and others were there, we walk in a pair of T-shirts or whatever, and we'd speak and we'd go sit down. Johnny come up to me one day and Marianne and said, "Come over to the house, we got to have dinner." Said, "You boys might not be able to afford a suit, but if you can, I'll figure out how to get you some money. But we're going to get you in a coat and tie. When you go to them meetings from now on, you got to have a coat and tie on. You can't go in there looking like that no more. No one's going to listen to you like that." Me and Robert Stossel looked around and said, "Okay." So guess what? We scraped up some money, went and got us a coat and tie from J.C. Penney's, and away we headed to Tallahassee. We walked in there, nobody recognized us. All of a sudden they looked down and said, "What is this, the Palm Beach Mafia?" And we took that to heart, and we become the Palm Beach Mafia and made some difference. And another thing that Johnny always said to me, he said, he sat me down when I became in 1992, or 1993, I became president of the Airboat and Half-Track Conservation Club of Palm Beach County. So he called me back over, he said, "We got to have dinner again, boy." So come back over there, and he sat me down, he said, "Hey, look, you're a ball of fire, and you're going to go in there with blazing glory, and you're going to try to change a lot of things. I know you." And he said, "You're going to have to slow down a little bit. You ain't going to be able to move and push people around like you think you are." I said, "I got a handle." He said, "Yeah, I hear you." He said, "Let me tell you something, son." He said, "The whole time you're doing this, people are going to cuss and curse you because you're going to make a difference. They ain't going to have nothing to do with you. They're all going to come out and just hate your guts for this. The only time you're going to get credit is when you retire. And everything stops, and then all of a sudden it'll be in their face, and they'll be able to say, 'Wow, you used to do that.'" And I sat back in days and looked at the way Johnny was treated there in the late 80s and stuff. In the 90s, he started getting some recognition for things he did. And I realized that there was some of that happening. I'm glad today that this happened. And I will say this. The first time I became president of that meeting, I went in there and I was at the podium. Johnny come wheeling in there on his chair. And one of the old-time members was sitting there, and Johnny come in and just sat there next to me, ran the whole meeting. When Johnny rolled out of there on his chair, one of the older members come up to me and said, "There was a day when that man come in this meeting, all he ever wanted was money." He said that's all he ever wanted from this club was money. He said no one looked at what he got done. He said, if he come in here today and said he wanted money, he said, I'd tell him what's the balance on the checkbook, write him a check, because it's the best money this club ever spent. And that's the legacy that Johnny and Mary Ann set forth. I mean, just everything they've ever done for us will go on forever as sportsmen. We'll never, ever forget them. And we appreciate everything they've already done. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people got a lot of things to say. And I just want to say their leadership abilities has gone out to the sportsmen's community in hundreds. There's still a lot of sportsmen today donating their blood, sweat, and tears and everything that Johnny and Mariana did. And we thank you very much for teaching us how to do it. Thank you.